Hi everyone, it's your boy Troy coming at you from lockdown with something, I guess a podcast called Chatting with Christie in Lockdown. It does what it says on the tin, just hanging out with Christie, shooting the shit, asking her a few questions, getting to know her basically. We've got the lo-fi hip-hop beats going for the chill vibes. So the story behind this is I wanted to do a series of these, interviewing friends over the lockdown, just as an excuse to talk to them, really. And so I sat down with Christie a couple of weeks ago to do the first one. We had a great time, had a right laugh, and then it came time to, edit it and put it together. And my God, there were so many audio problems, so many problems in general. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I don't know how to edit audio. I don't know why I thought I could do this. So it took fucking hours, and I don't want to do anymore. So this might just be a one-off. There may be more. Who knows? These are crazy times, and we just don't know what's coming next. So just enjoy this little slice of fun in these dark times. For those of you who don't know, Christie is a 20-something-year-old student going at the University of Leeds, studying food. She's from Norwich. She's all right. You'll have to make up your mind what you think about her in this podcast. So let's get to know Christie.
Hi, hello, hi.
How's it going, Christie?
It's going fantastic. It's really good. I've got a full stomach. I feel absolutely sublime.
Ooh, full stomach. All right, we're on to the food chat already. What did you eat? I was
So
saving it for later in the show, but you've kind of pushed it forward, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just took over. I apologize. Maybe I should just be my podcast instead.
That's fine. Go. What food was it, Christie?
So it's called kimchi jjigae. So it's kimchi stew. And it's just like a big pan of enoki mushrooms, gochujang, like spicy umami flavors, pork belly, tofu, all in this big, it was beautiful with some nice pearl rice. Yeah, that was good. I can still feel it just swimming around, acting
Very
delicious
nice.
in my stomach.
So
Thank
for the
you.
listeners at home, Christie, can you explain what kimchi is?
Oh, kimchi is a fermented cabbage. So the more fermented, it's amazing how over time it gets like better. Like it never goes off. Like really,
So
you
you're
can keep
saying
kimchi.
fermented cabbage, it actually gets good at some point?
Yeah, no, like it's fermenting, and it sounds awful, but
It
it's
does,
fermenting
yeah.
for greatness. But it's
But it is
like,
very
yeah, so
nice. We both had
it's
kimchi
phenomenal.
in South Korea, correct? Like at different
Yes,
times,
yeah.
but
Oh gosh, yeah. You went to South Korea. Oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah, I
Yes,
did.
yeah. And I love kimchi. It's fantastic.
So when did you go to South Korea, Christie?
In like 2016 or something,
Really?
like after my A levels. Yeah, it was interesting.
What was the
It was
most
a wild
interesting
ride.
thing about Korea, Christie?
The thing is, I don't think I got to see the Korea that you saw, because you kind of went like, I don't know, I think you went more like, you went to the city, you went like, but I mainly went like in the outskirts,
Really?
and stayed like in like the mountainous regions, went hiking a lot. So I didn't really get to see Seoul and like other places, but I did travel around Korea, a little bit, but yeah, I didn't, so, but it was phenomenal. Like I didn't know that Korea had such like a green likeness about it, and it was
It's really
superb.
green, isn't it? I couldn't believe
So
that.
green. I was like, what? Like I could just feel the trees saying hey, and I was like, hey, wow, this is so good. But yeah,
So
it's
for listeners at
phenomenal.
home, who are interested in this place called Korea, what were the kind of best parts about it? Why should people go there?
I mean, the food is 100% a selling point for me, but that's just
The
because
food is
like
good. The food is
love,
really good.
I love strong, pungent flavors that just punch you in the face, but like also sing to your soul and your stomach. So I think the food 100%.
Yeah, it's soul food.
Um,
It's real like Asian soul food, isn't it? Like the
it's great.
cold noodle soup, is it or whatever?
You like cold noodle soup?
It was so good. I didn't think I'd like it. It was
Wow.
a bit spicy, but
That's amazing. I'm so wow. That's amazing. A lot of people don't because it's like cold noodles, so it's a bit like
yeah.
cold
Well,
noodles.
Christy, I'm full of surprises, as I'm sure you are, and that's why we're doing this podcast, isn't it? To get to know each other. So I wanted you for the first guest on this podcast. Surely,
Why?
that start it off with a bang because you've done two other podcasts, clearly people want to know a lot about you. What was it like doing 2 other podcasts? What was the experience of being interviewed like?
Honestly, I think the reason they asked me is because they knew I was just going to say yes. Can't lie to you.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a, I just, no, honestly, it was really good stuff. A lot of the other two people, like good friends of mine. So, they were like,
So
oh,
the other
Christy,
two
yeah, she
people
just,
were the one currently is not.
no, I mean, but listen, Troy, we're talking about the other people.
Yeah,
I
no, the other
mean,
people.
you're putting
Yeah.
words into my mouth. But yes, it was great fun. It was weird being asked questions because I honestly don't think there's. Also, why is my name on Zoom called Christoph Waltz?
Christy, you're breaking the fourth wall here. This is not a high quality production that people are expecting here. You're really kind of bringing us down. Look, I just thought it was just helping me concentrate, so I know who I'm talking to. I said it to Christoph Waltz. Christy worked with Christoph Waltz on many films before. Um, I can't think of any Christoph Waltz films, but she was on them.
You've thrown me. You
No,
have
I'm gonna
thrown
cut. I'm
me.
gonna cut all of this. All right, don't worry about it. Yeah, no. What was it like being? Did you enjoy like answering loads of questions about yourself, or was it a bit like too weird?
Um, I didn't find it weird. Like, I will genuinely talk to anybody, but I just don't think like I feel like if you're doing a podcast or an interview, like if the person's famous, they've got a lot more like I don't know. I'm like, why are they asking me questions? I'm just not okay. I'm not just Christy because I'm Christy. I'm fantastic, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm
Yeah.
actually not. I'm not arrogant. Sorry, that is. But
No, you're
I,
positive.
yeah,
That's what we want. Positive
yeah,
vibes here.
yeah. I'm glad. I'm
But
glad
so you're saying
because
you haven't done anything that they would be
not like
wanting to ask
major
about.
to talk about. Yeah, but I'll happily talk about the things I love in life and very positively. But I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
clearly
mean, I'm
people
not complaining.
clearly people think you're interesting enough to warrant a podcast. So there must be something interesting about you.
Thank you for thinking that of me, Troy. Really appreciate it.
I don't think it, but these other podcast hosts think it. So I'm cribbing their style. But
You're so rude.
but yeah, what break it down for the folks at home. What is interesting about Christy? What does she do?
Wow.
Um,
Break it down. So I have
yeah,
to tell people what's interesting about me.
is that my job? One of the really interesting things I like about Christy, and what our listeners ask a lot of the time, they want to get to the bottom. What does she study? Is it gastronomy? Is it gastrology? Is it gastronomics? Is it gastroenteritis? What is? So what do you study, Christy?
I study nutrition, Troy. Nutrition.
Nutrition. My listeners are way off there. They didn't even think of that one.
Oh God, I'm so done.
So
It's
what brought what? So you do nutrition at the University of Leeds,
yes,
a university we both went to, but we're not sponsored by. Um, what? Why nutrition?
because I love food. Like it brings me just a joy I honestly cannot even. Yeah,
But it is pure joy, isn't it? Food.
yeah, it is pure joy. And food is like it's a global language. Like we all communicate. Like you know what I mean. Like we all speak food.
Yeah.
Each and every single person speaks food in the world. So I just think it's phenomenal. And also I do love like it's obviously not just food. Like I don't really cook in my course. I cook at home because I love it. But there's so much in the future that I'd love to do with like NGOs and like working in with food agriculture and stuff like that. So I do also have I do want to actually help people and not just. But I mean, if anybody would love to pay me to eat around the world, I would happily say yes and drop everything right
I
now
think you could
and
get
they
that
can
job.
film me eating. I would love that, but I don't
That
think
would be
it's
a great job.
possible.
And it is true. It's like global. It's a really good way for people to like connect across cultures. I
Mm.
remember being friends with some international students in like first year, and they would do cook-offs, cookout. They would all cook their own like meal and serve it, and it was really nice. Like trying. I mean, it wasn't Dutch food wasn't very nice, but it was interesting to try. And it's nice that kind of like sharing your cooking with
Mm.
people. But you don't do you don't
Yeah,
really like to share your cooking, right? Correct?
I love Troy.
Well,
You're
no.
salty. You've been salty from day one. You've been
Christie.
salty from day one that I haven't cooked you a meal. You actually
Christie, this is
stopped
not
this
about my
behavior.
personal feelings. I'm a journalist. I'm not biased. No, because you only cooked for me recently, and your housemates allegations have come in from your housemates that you have not cooked for them yet. Is that correct?
That's changed
That's changed, has it?
since you last. Yeah, that has changed. I've made
Breaking news.
I've made a couple of delicious dishes. I made a tart tatin. I made some Korean fried chicken. I've made a bunch of stuff now. So they need to drop it too because they were coming for me. I'd always have people around for dinner like twice a week or once a week, and they'd be like, "Well, where's our meal?" I'm like, "It's really stressful to cook for 6 people, and like
Yeah,
three are
no, it is.
vegetarian or sort of." So it was very like,
So do you like
but
cooking for other people, or do you find it a bit
I love
stressful
it.
because they're like judging? Really?
It's a bit of both. I think I found a meme the other day where it's like when you're trying to like see how somebody like is reacting to your
Oh
food and
yeah,
just keep
yeah.
staring at them. But I just like I love cooking. I love feeding people, but I also do get very stressed because I want them to find it delicious. Because when I cook for myself, my palate, I'll eat anything really. So I cook it to what I love, but I know other people
Yeah,
will not
yeah.
like their tastes. Yeah, so I get really worried because I just want them to enjoy and have a great time. And yeah, but
Yeah, well,
I
if
love
you're like cooking
eating.
something for yourself and you burn something, it's like I'll eat
I'm like,
burnt. I
screw
don't
it.
care. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But you
yeah.
don't want to burn something when you're cooking for someone else.
Oh God, no. Oh my gosh. It's so embarrassing. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm so sorry. But like it's okay. It's not okay. Food is very important to me. So I get very touchy. Like I think during lockdown I tried to make profiteroles and I sobbed at the
Ooh,
first batch because they turned out like biscuits and my mum was like, "You need to get a grip. They're profiteroles. It's
yeah.
a
To be fair,
profiterole,
profiteroles are
Christy."
hard, right? They're like French and everything.
So hard. So hard. But don't worry. Third batch, phenomenal. Fantastic.
So where does the
Good
love of
stuff.
food come from? Like in the Christie origin story, was it like your family? Was it a family thing, or is this your sort of way of rebelling against your family? Like where does the love of food come from?
So true. Bit of both, actually.
Really?
Yeah, apparently my dad really loved food. Like not love, but like would always cook. Like was all for it. And then because like my family we were quite busy. Like when I was growing up, they'd just be working a lot. So I just like was like, oh, I'm gonna entertain myself, bake a cake, and then from then on, I was like, when you put like simple ingredients like butter and like eggs and then all of a sudden it turns into this incredible creation and then from then on I would just absorb food. I would love it like
Yeah.
oh just yeah
The
yeah so bit of it but
creativity.
also yeah the creativity as well like it's a science which is awesome but then also slow like sort of rebelling against my mum because not rebelling but she wanted me to do like law and medicine and I was like I'm going to study food and she was like
Yeah.
great but then
I
when
think
she
it's
figured
more
out there's a
important
little
though.
yeah, it is. It's so important. Like, come on. She's over it now, but before, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
But no one's ever like sat down on a Saturday night and brought out the 1984 Human Rights Act, but like a nice dinner, a nice like cake, like that brings joy to people in a way I
it's true.
believe the legal system never will. Yeah. So is the I don't know. Sorry. How do you feel about the sort of British legal system?
Troy, we're gonna get into this.
No, I'm just trying to think of how to get back to
Are we
the sort
really
of
going?
normal line of questioning. No, that's the thing is when you're a kid though, it is kind of like magic, isn't it? Like eggs, butter, flour,
Mm,
sugar, cake.
it's phenomenal. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Do you remember the moment when you were like, I'm following the food goals, dreams?
Oh, I don't. Oh, that's a great question.
Is it something you've always had, or was it like a slow thing?
I think from when I first baked my first cake and I started watching like a lot of cooking shows, just simple things like, come dine with me, did a day. And then I start like what there was just so much more that then built upon that. Um, and then I don't know. I think it's just from when I first baked like my first ever cake and got my like first like weighing scales and like cooking stuff. I was like, this is incredible. And then I found out that a donut has an avocado has more saturated fat than a donut, and my mind was blown. I was like, I want to find out. And then I remember writing up my personal statement for like university
Really?
when I was kind of deciding, oh, like the nutrition is where I really want to be. Like,
So it's the science of it as well that you like, the getting into the nitty gritty, like secret side.
Yeah, I really love. But then weirdly at uni, I want to avoid everything to do with the lab, so which is the
Really?
science part of it. So I don't know what's. I love the science, so I don't actually want to do the work right now.
Yeah.
But I think that's just like uni's kind of sucks the life out of
Yeah.
it all right now. But hopefully later, um,
Well, that's a
yeah,
good
I'll find
segue,
the love
Christy. You
again.
know, how are you getting on with the lockdown, being up in Leeds? Leeds, for those at home, is an English city in the north of England. So how are you getting on up there?
I'm actually fine. I've got so much what I'm swimming. I'm marinating in dissertation reading. So honestly, I'm so busy. And then I'm like, I haven't been outside. Wait, no, I went to Aldi the other day. That was the first time I was out in a couple of weeks. Aldi shop.
Okay,
I
don't
should be going out for
do not
walks.
do not talk about Aldi because I would get really jealous if you start talking about your Aldi shops. I would get really. I miss the Aldi in
What?
Leeds so much.
But there's an Aldi in Norwich. There's like three or
Yeah,
four.
but I don't. I've not been doing the shop. I've not been doing the shop recently.
Oh,
I
okay.
know.
Oh, fair enough.
I know.
I'm so sorry for your
So
loss.
wait, you've not been going out? Like you've been too busy to go out?
Yeah, I've been so busy. Like the day, somebody's stealing the days. I don't know who it is, but I'm going to find out. But somebody's stealing like my days because
Yeah.
today I woke up, it was 8, and then it wasn't, and now it's 8 p.m. So yeah. Oh,
Sorry, the internet just really went there, but I'm gonna edit that all of that out. You know, that'll be fine.
oh okay.
No, no one at home will
Sorry.
notice. So, okay, we go from someone stealing the days. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Who's stealing the
Yes.
days? What? No,
Somebody.
no, they go really fast in lockdown though. Right, Christy, don't laugh.
Yeah. No. Honest. I'm sorry. Honestly, somebody's stealing the days, and I get so easily distracted. Like I find myself doing dance breaks for like all of a sudden hours pass. I'm like, oh my God, this is
Really?
why I'm like
Wait, so you're just
profusely
in your room
sweating
like
because
dancing?
I'm like, whoa, and I'm like, I'm gonna learn a dance routine, and I'm just like, yeah, let's go for it. Honestly, I don't know what's going on in my head, and I'll play guitar, and then I'll stare at the wall, talk to my plants, and all of a sudden the day's over. So I don't know,
Have you got any work
the
done in
day's
that
going.
day?
Yeah, of course,
Hmm. Does it help,
sure.
having that thing to do, like having all that work? Would you be going crazy in lockdown without it?
Weirdly, in the first lockdown, I don't know. I keep saying the word marinated, but I was truly in like Christiness. Like I would cycle all the time. I'd spend like hours baking and or like so obviously I miss seeing my friends. I think that's the main thing. And eating out is a hobby of mine, so I didn't get to do that that much. But I really didn't feel it.
You were in the zone.
And I was in a zone, and it was a great. I slept so well. I talked to my plants. I repotted. I grew pumpkins. I was so chill.
Because a lot of people struggle not having that structure in their life and not having like the
Yeah.
outlet of like going outside and stuff.
I think at first maybe, but because I still had exams until maybe June,
Mm.
and then it was a real release to be like, wow, you have no purpose for now. You can wake up and just wake up and exist, and that's great. And like that sleeping at last lyric, it's a privilege to even exist. I really got to appreciate the fact that I exist and
Wow.
I'm well and I'm alive and healthy. So I really,
Well,
yeah.
we just had a deep moment on this podcast. Who saw that one coming? Jesus, I wasn't prepared for that. Gonna have to get new notes here. So, what is the purpose of you?
It's true.
What is the purpose of you existing, Christy? Where are you aiming yourself? You know.
Um, I don't really know what my. Do you know? Actually, I've never thought of what my purpose is.
I more meant, what's like next for Christy?
Oh, I mean, Troy, the way you asked that question was not.
Look,
That's not where
Christy,
I was going.
we're all learning on this show. This show is a learning experience. That's why we're all here.
Okay,
Okay?
great,
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
Okay, so
Can I be here every week?
probably I don't think anyone else will do this, so this might just become the Christy and Troy show. Yeah.
Do you know what, Troy? It could be great.
It will be great.
I'm just putting it out there
It
now.
will be
It
great.
would. Wow,
Yeah. I
Will. I love that you speak that into existence.
I don't even need to guess if that's what's going to happen. I've sent out many emails and no one's responded. Got a lot of office out of office replies from students.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, Okay.
Well, you've had a bit of time to think about your purpose now, Christie. So,
Oh God.
I'm gonna need that pronto.
Okay, where's Christy going? Honestly, I think one thing that I'm not actually, it's not that deep. I think one thing that's really taught me this year is I need to stop focusing on the small things like, oh, I need to have this in order to do this, or gosh, everybody's got this. Really and truly, when I put it into perspective, I'm 22. I'm 22 years young, and I have the rest of my life to be old, but I spend such a short time being young and like, fresh, and so I just think obviously it's good to have plans. I'm not just going to sit around and just wilt. I'm not going to be spinach. I'm not going to be a bag of spinach. It's not going to happen. I don't want to be a bag of spinach because I friggin' hate
No,
spinach. Anyway, I'm really going off. I love spinach, but I hate the
you gotta
way
be like
you
a
put
carrot because
a
they're
whole
good
bunch.
forever. Carrots.
Right, right, or kimchi. I can do
Yeah.
kimchi
Well, you
because
don't
that
want to
lasts for.
ferment
I mean, I
though.
don't,
That's a bit like Jesus.
but I'm great for your gut. So
Do you hear that a lot,
real.
Christy? Do you get told a lot you're good for people's guts?
Yes,
Really?
yes. No, actually, I get no. I don't. I don't. I just get told that I cause upset stomachs most of the time
Oh
because
no, really?
the positivity makes them sick.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. It's a lot.
Great.
No, that's a good life philosophy, and I think that's something that you get older, right? That because when you're younger, like you're so in everything, every little thing feels so important, and as you get a bit older, you get that sense of like I'm just gonna chill.
Yeah, it's perspective. And obviously there's so many things I'd love to achieve, and I'd love to be able to, use my degree and what I'm learning to really help communities and help people who like, I don't know.
Help
Yeah, I won't
people's
go into it because
guts.
I'll just
Yeah.
talk for hours. Help people's gut. Well, yeah, a little bit more than guts, but just empowering people with the tools that they can be able to then feed themselves and grow their own crops and blah 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 blah. So, but I'd also love to dabble in like cookbooks for fun, like or just I don't know, I would I don't know, but I just think I don't know where exactly I'm going, but I'm very open as long as it's down the route of food and helping people, but also enjoying myself.
So you got the
I'd
sort
love
of
that.
trifecta there.
I've got an umbrella.
Yeah.
And I've got, the bits of when your umbrella breaks and the bits start spiking out.
Do I ever, Christy? I've lost many umbrellas that way.
Oh, exactly. So I've got little bits of spikes sticking out. And hopefully one day when I close them together, this is really
You're
bad
gonna
if I don't
fall.
how.
So your life is a
I'm gonna,
broken umbrella right now, and you're gonna cram it shut and pass it back
yes,
off to someone else and let them open it.
yes,
Well, that's good.
bingo.
Can you ever see yourself sort of in the far future being like a farmer, like sitting on your porch with like a big rows of? You were talking about crops, and you had a kind of love in your voice when you talked about crops, and I could.
Could you see the love in my voice?
Well, I'll be honest, Christy, I don't hear many people in 2020 talk about crops, so you are one of the first, and I was surprised. Could you not see yourself living out in the country, kind of having that sort of peaceful hobbit life?
When I'm old, yeah, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to be comfy and live in the countryside. But no, not right now.
No, not
Yeah.
now, obviously. No.
But but in terms of crops, I just mean I'm really interested in like nutrition. It's called nutrition sensitive agriculture. And basically, you know how, along the years we've given money to charities to then be able to send to children in, lower middle income countries. So I'll just use like maybe is it Save the Children or what do we do is it Red Nose Day?
We're going to have to be vague about
December?
names because I don't want to get sued, Christy. Red-nosed
Oh,
children, that's what we'll call it.
Red.
We'll cover us on the
Basically,
legal front.
you can cut it out whatever. But
Bleep
every
it
year
out.
maybe we'll like send. I just believe that beep. We'll send money to charities to be able to like I don't know, build a house or whatever. But I just think it's about empowering the people that live in those communities, educate them, give them the tools that they can be able to grow their own crops, their own livestock, and then be able to, have some kind of money coming in. And so I just think when I say crops, I mean really looking at agriculture and how can we help these people, not just give them money. Money doesn't do anything, but you
Yeah.
need to empower people and educate them
So
with anything in life.
it's the
Like,
old kind of like teach a man a fish malarkey. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
wanna, yeah,
Teach a benefit. Yeah,
give a man a
yeah,
fish, he'll eat for a day, but teach him to fish,
yeah.
and he'll be fishing all day
They'll eat
long.
for
Yeah.
whew, oh my gosh, yes,
Well, that's a good
exactly.
goal. That's a noble goal. In other news,
What about you, Troy?
this isn't about me, Christy. We have had a lot of
Why?
people calling in wanting to know about a certain viral sensation that I'm hearing you were involved in. It was a video of you dancing and hitting away bad vibes. Does this ring a bell?
Yes, so many bells. The bells are ringing for Christmas.
Are you planning another viral sensation for Christmas?
There's one in the workings, not for Christmas, just for fun.
Oh, is there
Maybe by
actually?
the time I don't know when you plan on releasing this, but the
This is live, Christy.
I'm just
Where do you
gonna
think
ruin
the
it for
callers will
myself.
come from? This is live.
The song I was going to do I am going to do is Free by Alternate. So it's you're free to do what you want to do. You gotta live your. But then we went into a lockdown, so
There
I
wasn't
was
the right
like, is it the
moment for
best?
that.
Is it the best time to
No,
do this?
but that's
But
going to
I'm
hit
kind of
hard
taking
when
a
the
spin
lockdown
on it.
ends, Christy.
Well, but the thing is, I don't think we'll be free until, for the next few years. So
Mm.
really that song, unless so I'm thinking instead of doing like you're free, we're not physically free, but we're free to love each other. We're free to be positive. We're free to, yeah, do lots of things other than just party and
So there is
yeah.
another. Well, we're not free to party right now, but there is another
No,
viral sensation in the works.
I really wouldn't call it that. It's just me busting a weird move because I have ideas and I just do it. And my housemates are just they just
Well, you say it
enable
wasn't a
my
viral
behavior.
sensation, but according to my notes, it got literally dozens of views. So are my notes lying?
Um, what are your sources? You're lying to me.
Let me. Yeah, they're right there. Um,
So a blank piece of paper.
Yeah. Well,
Fantastic.
talk about your positivity, Christy. That's something that comes up a lot in these other podcasts. These sort of much more like professional and more in depth, just better podcasts. They talk like they're very interested in your positivity. Does that make you feel more negative when people ask you about your positivity?
I wouldn't say it makes me feel more negative, but I'm like, should we not all be like this? I'm like, there's really, to me, I don't think that it's that, like, oh, I don't know how to
What does
word
it
this.
make you think of other people when you being positive is such a like shock to them? Do you know what I mean? Is that like a good
I'm
sign
like,
about
guys,
where we're in?
it's not. It's not. I think the fact that people think somebody being, I don't think I'm overly positive because I do really have that. I really do. Like my music taste as well. You know this,
Yeah,
Troy.
I do know this. I caught you last night
Utterly.
listening to a song called. It was like, "Why am I still alive?" or something. I li-
I was like,
At 1 in the morning, I was listening to that. Like, maybe I
oh,
need to
what was
message
it called? It
Christy.
was it was really it was Die Alone. There was a song called Die Alone I was listening to. And to me, a lot of the songs I listen to are it's not about I think they're beautiful. I'm obsessed with music and I just think my music taste is really not a true representation. Apart from I do listen to some K-pop and it's really fun and it's
Yeah,
fantastic. Um,
that's what people
yeah,
expect of
but
Christy. They don't expect her to be listening to Die Alone.
Die Alone, and I'm there like, wow. Or like I spend the whole day listening to a couple of cello pieces, and I just think sobbing at a cello. Like, what's wrong with me? I don't know. I don't sob at real life, but I sob at a cello. But I don't. I just think I don't know what the question was now. I'm lost. Um, I think that the world needs to be like we need to just chill out. Why we like the fact that me being a little bit more positive is shocking to people. Really, like obviously I know there's a lot. The world is messed up, but it's been messed up for I don't know if we're really going to take it biblically and go back to like it's been messed up for a while. But there's so
The
much to be
Garden of
thankful
Eden,
for and
really.
grateful for. Like there, if like, what do you say?
The Garden of Eden. I was like, when it all went
Yeah, do you know
wrong,
what I
really.
mean?
Like,
It kind of went a bit upsy daisy, to put
mm,
it plainly. So I get that there's a lot to be like, oh God, and I know I complain. The older you get, you start to realize I'm more like Squidward instead of SpongeBob, or like so. There's you know what I mean. But before I'd be like, wow, SpongeBob is a G. I love him, and I was like, no, I prefer Squidward now, or now I'm a bit of both. But I just think I don't know the world. We need to try a bit more because there is so much that I like. I'm so easily amused by like just staring at my plants and thinking, wow, they're photosynthesizing right now. That's sick. That's so cool. Like,
yeah.
look at you sunbathing. I just think, yeah, and I just think we need to be a bit more like, maybe I'm naive, and maybe I'm just, but
Well, maybe
I'm
naivety is what
just.
we need in the world these days, Christy.
Do you think
Yeah. What is it?
the harsh realities of the world?
Yeah. Well, not everyone can
Yeah.
photosynthesize. It is difficult out there. But what is your advice for people that are listening to this? All three people listening to this who are really shocked at how you stay so positive. What is your advice for them? They're really sad if they're listening to this. I'll tell you that.
I'm so sorry you've been subjected to hearing me wheezing half the time and Troy just being Troy. Um, but gosh, advice. I just think enjoy life because once again, like we said, the sleeping at last lyric. Well, I said, I don't know. It's a privilege to exist, and I know that it sounds a bit deep or whatever, but it really is. And I just think this year has really shown us that things can switch up so easily without no one saw this coming. We all came into the new year like 2020 vision, new year, new me. It's gonna be. We were fooled.
Yeah.
We were fooled with a capital F and a lowercase o and another capital. But you know what I mean. Like I just think we really need to enjoy life. I know I sound really cliche and it makes me want to be sick when I say this, but the simple things like plants or finding hobbies, things that you really enjoy, simple conversations that you have with people, like surround yourself with people that are building you up and encouraging you, but you can also call each other out, like the right kind of people that make like will allow you to be like, there are good things about my life. Work sucks, uni sucks, and we all know that. We're like life sucks, but it's also great. It's a really like I don't know. I just think really try and enjoy it a little bit more.
Put the
Find things
effort
if you're
in.
not enjoying it right now. Put the effort in. Make a conscious effort. Be intentional to enjoy it.
Yeah, I
Um,
think this Christmas might be a really like different experience for a lot of people because if you're coming out of like a year where you can't spend time with people, everything's been fucking miserable, and then you come straight out of lockdown into Christmas. I think a lot of people might have a bit more awareness of like how lucky they are to be spending Christmas with other people, to have like nice
yeah,
food. Do you know, in a year
yeah,
where not everyone, his grandparents or family have made it to Christmas this year, you know, perhaps people will be a bit more grateful.
yeah.
But if they aren't more
I
grateful,
hope
what are
so.
you going to do? Are you going to sort of start culling people's families to like make them really appreciate what it was there before? Or what's the plan?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'll be round your house with my yellow Crocs. I'll be dressed all in yellow, head to toe. Because this Christmas I'm getting some yellow Crocs,
Are
and
you
I've got
actually?
full on yellow outfits ready to represent. Gonna get some gibbets to stick on top.
I think there is an opening because the Yorkshire Ripper's just died, so you could be the Yorkshire Crocker and you could kill people in your yellow
Croaker.
Crocs.
Croak.
That's good. That's good.
That's phenomenal. I love
I think
that.
you've thought about
And I
that
leave
before.
the Croc imprint everywhere I go.
That's dark. You superheat the Crocs and brand them with
Oh
it
my
before you get them.
jeez. I think that's a phenomenal. That I
So,
like that.
where are you
Yeah.
going hunting? For your first victim, Christy, are you going the red light district in Holbeck and getting a prostitute like classic? Or are you going to aim
Troy.
for like,
Troy. That's not where we're going with this.
Look, this is a nice chill podcast, Christy, right? And, in other news, you talked a lot about music so far today, Christy.
I
Music's a
have.
big thing for you.
Yeah,
Why?
it helps me feel because I can't feel otherwise.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that could be a problem.
No, I just love it.
Yeah, it's hard to describe, isn't it, music? Because I think with other art forms, there's a bit more, like, tangibleness to it, you know what I mean? You can kind of see what you like about it a bit more. But what you like about music, it's so, like, ethereal, and hard to
Yeah,
pinpoint.
yeah. Ethereal is definitely, yeah, that's the right word. Yeah,
Thank you,
completely.
I prepared it beforehand, and then...
It's phenomenal. Yeah, I
Thank
really
you.
felt that. Gave me goose pimples.
So
Mm.
it's not all sad music though, is it, Christy? There's some happiness in there, right?
Yeah, there is. There
There
is
wasn't a lot of
definitely.
confidence in that answer.
No, there is. There really is. There is some. I do. I do listen to happy. Like I said, sometimes I listen to K-pop. I never thought I'd be that person. No offense to K-pop. Um, but this summer, me and my housemates, my housemates and I, we came back for summer for a month, and we said, you know what? Let's see what the hype is about. Let's just because people are obsessed with with K-pop and what is the spiel. So we watched one of the BTS films or whatever, and we were like, oh my god, these guys are talented. They can dance, sing, breathe at the same time. It's but like it's talent that I hadn't seen to that. Like obviously that I love music. I've seen loads. We've all seen the music videos. I've seen loads of like amazing artists, but there's something I don't know. Like they really put their heart and
Oh, you
soul,
like the
and
live
I'm all for.
stuff?
But I love it all. Like I'm really in for it now. Like I'm all for it because there's so much heart and soul put into it, and I just love the effort and the fact that it's just catering. I never thought my palate would develop. Like red wine, I now love it. Dark chocolate, I love it. My palate is developing, and now
Yeah.
K-pop is just thrown in there, just in the
K-pop
back
is
of
the
my
sort of
tongue.
red wine of music.
Mm.
Is you?
It really has. But yeah,
Well, my thing with K-pop is I like it when I watch it with the music video, and then without the music video, I'm like a bit
uh,
done. But when they're all really happy and like dancing along, and like they've
yeah.
got those big routines and stuff,
Jeez.
I like
It's the
that.
routines that get me. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Inspiring. But no, I do listen to happy music sometimes, obviously. I also really love Afro beats, but I think just because it just sings to the DNA in my body,
Yeah.
and I can't help but move. So yeah.
Do you think that is a DNA thing? Like it's literally like in there, or do you think it's kind of nice because it just is a reminder of the heritage?
I think it's a bit of both, actually. Because it's just like when me and my sister, well, we just vibe. Like whenever I go home and I'm like, let's go for a car ride. You're driving, obviously, because I can't drive yet. No. But
Spoken
we
like a
just, and
true
honestly,
passenger.
whenever I hear, right?
Let's go for a
When I
drive.
feel the please can you? I outed myself really. Don't worry, I'm learning. It's
Oh,
happening
are you?
soon, one day. Soon,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
soon. Very soon. With a capital S, soon. But yeah, like it just I honestly whenever I hear that the music like I feel the cells in my body just start to just move and I can't help but move. And I think that's when I just started doing these really stupid dance videos because I can't dance to save my life,
I don't
but
know,
I will
Christy.
happily dance.
I don't know, Christy. The dance moves in those videos, they're a step above at least
Troy.
what I can do, which isn't saying much.
It's not saying that.
Oh, Jesus. You haven't even seen me dance, Christy. You know what? I think this calls for a
I think
dance off.
I have. I think I have
Wait,
a
have
long
you
time
actually? Oh
ago.
my god, yeah, probably one of those just really
Like
cursed
when we were in high
parties.
school.
Yeah. Well, you know what,
Yeah.
Christy? Let's talk about high school. Um,
I don't want to. Do we have to?
I don't know, do we? I think we do. I think we do. I think it's the the burgundy sweatshirt elephant in the room. Um, you know, you were prom queen in high school.
Yes.
Was your high school experience good, or was it like was it like Hollywood All Access behind the scenes? There was a lot of drugs and broken hearts and stuff.
Do you know what? I weirdly enjoyed my time at high school. Like when I think back, I, and I feel like I'm really lucky because a lot of people that I speak to had an awful high school experience, and it's only when they got into college or sixth one that's where they really enjoy themselves. But I had a phenomenal time at high school because I had some real wacky friends, and we were all just living in our just wackiness and like encouraging each other to be whoever we want to be, and it's great. It was great. I'm still friends with them now, but
Yeah.
it was really really good stuff. I enjoyed it, and
So
I did some weird assemblies,
yeah,
like
you
just
did.
weird kid, man. I don't know why people let me act up like that, but it's embarrassing when I still see teachers outside. I've grown, they've grown, and they still remember my nonsense.
The
So
coconut song and
the
the
coconut
German
song,
song
yeah,
and all that. It's that
yeah,
kind of having that confidence to do it, which I think immediately makes people okay with it. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like just having the confidence to do it kind of means you can get away with anything, really. Not anything.
true. Something, yeah, yeah,
Don't go
that's
killing
true. That's
prostitutes,
very true.
but you know,
What is it about prostitutes today with you? Goodness,
Christy, it's been a long lockdown, all right?
Troy.
No, I was going to ask an actual question. So, you know, in all the coming of age films, there's that bit where they're like, oh, I've realised who I am and I'm going to accept who I am and stuff. So it sounds like you and your friends being in that wacky world. I say that as if I don't know who your friends were. You and these
I was like,
air
Troy.
quotes friends. You were in your own little world. Did you ever have that moment where you went from being like, I'm going to try and be the normal, cool person to I'm just going to be Christie?
It's so weird because I really don't remember ever feeling normal. Whatever normal is. Not that I know, but maybe just a bit bland. I imagine it like a potato soup without the seasoning, just potato soup. That's what I imagine normal would be. Yeah, potato soup.
You say that
which
like
you'd
it's
have
bad.
if you were
I
a little
eat
bit ill.
Potato soup for breakfast.
With no salt, no seasoning.
Yeah, sometimes I don't even add water. It's just pure blended raw potatoes.
Why does that tickle me?
Because it's delicious and you know it and you've been caught out.
Stop. It's not even, I really need to stop laughing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, the amount of dead air on this where it's just you on Zoom. I'm so sorry, listeners at home. I'll get a better guest for next time, okay? I promise.
Wow. Can you have me back? I actually really enjoy this. But we need to talk more about you. I hate just... Anyways.
No, Christie, this is my podcast, and this is me interviewing you.
Oh.
And, yeah, so you never felt like potato soup. What kind of soup did you
Weirdly,
feel like as a kid?
Like a different soup, you know, like a like a with the floaty bits. I honestly don't know. I just felt like I didn't.
I would make fun of you for saying, "Oh, I felt like a different soup with floaty bits," but I remember the first time I had minestrone soup, and when you go from a kid to being like just cream with tomato to minestrone, it blew my fucking mind that there was like little bits of pasta in it and stuff. It was crazy.
Phenomenal.
I went through a phase of just eating Heinz minestrone soup, not for every meal, but for a lot. I don't know.
Weirdly, I don't like minestrone.
Really?
Yeah, I'm weak. Like I love the bits. I really love like orange juice with bits. I think it's delicious. But minestrone, I don't like tomato. I'm gonna say tomato. I was gonna say tomato because people make fun of me, but I say tomato in my everyday vocabulary. I'm gonna keep it that way.
Jesus.
I'm not gonna change. Tomato. I don't like tomato-based soups really, or tomato-based things that much. I know, yeah. But I love a fresh tomato with a little bit of salt sprinkled on top.
Well, this really brings us to the segment of the show I like to call Soup Corner. If you're not a tomato soup kind of person, what are your top 5 soups?
It's weird because I'm obsessed with carrot and coriander, but coriander makes me heave.
Yeah.
But like coriander actually makes me heave, like ill.
Really?
But in soup, it's so dumbed down. I don't fully taste the coriander, and I just love. But I really love like butternut squash soup, like stuff that's a bit sweet on the sweeter end. I know it's upsetting. I know. I've been told by many.
Yeah, in this edition of Soup Corner, we are in opposite corners here because I don't want I don't want sweet soups at all. If I wanted sweet soups,
at least you'll never steal my soup.
You what?
Custard is not a sweet soup. Custard is a drink.
Excuse me? Have you ever drunk custard?
I will drink custard. I have drank custard on many occasions.
To be fair, custard's good enough to drink.
It's superb.
I'm glad we could come together in this edition of Soup Corner to agree on custard being a drinkable soup.
You should have a segment on what soups people would be and why. Yeah, I think you should have everybody that you have on here should say
okay, I can do that.
And have a song like, yeah, I don't know what the song would be.
It's
a jingle.
Time for soup. It's soup. This is why I don't sing or dance, Christie.
That made me ill.
Who knew this was going to be an all singing, all dancing edition?
I was never. I honestly, Troy, you sang twice now. Let's make it a third. Wait,
I've sung twice. When was the first time?
Did you not sing? Oh, did I make that up?
I think you were getting me confused with Frank Sinatra. We have similar voices.
Ah, okay, yeah.
We used Dodge. You never felt like potato soup. You never felt like you could just blend in with everyone else.
We're back to the no. I don't.
This back on track
when I really think, I'm so sorry. Yeah. When I think about it, I really don't. I'm really trying to think, but I think I've just maybe because people were so vocal, or I read body language a lot and very well, and I think I would see the reactions and the expressions that people would give me, um, and in a way it would egg me on because they'd be like,
So you like that reaction of people not
yeah.
getting what you're doing. You were like fueled by that.
I think I must have done because it just egged me on even more. And I guess obviously as an adult I've dumbed it down because I think I was just a bit too, it was a bit too off,
Yeah, too
when
much
I was in
going for
high
like that
school.
reaction.
I was a bit too crazy. But now I've matured in that, like, I've just aging like a fine wine. I just can't put it any better. I'm just, wow. What can I say? Or a kimchi. I'm fermenting.
Yeah.
I'm fermenting.
Are you marinating or fermenting? Because you keep changing your story on this one, Christy, and I'm going to have to hold you to it.
Um,
The people want answers.
I think but fermenting sounds so awful, but I think I'm fermenting because marinating gets to a point where I'm going to have to cook that stuff.
Mm.
But fermenting, I can be fermenting for so long and the flavor develops over time. I'm going to say fermenting.
I respect that. I respect that.
Thank you.
Going back to your point,
Thank you.
personally, I can't relate to sort of acting out and then getting off on people's sort of reactions when they think it's quite strange.
That
That's not,
sounds so bad.
yeah, that's not something
Getting
I.
off on people.
No, but a lot of people would hear that, and that idea that you never felt normal, and be quite intimidated by it. Especially for a kid to feel like they can't just be in the background. That's quite an intense feeling.
I think it's not really that because I think when I'm in like a big social setting, I don't feel that I need to be like people need to notice me, or I don't feel like I need to be like they need to know, okay, Christie's in the room or Christie's center. No, I really chill in the back when I am asked to speak, like, especially like group work. Give me the work, I'll do it. I don't need to lead that group work. I'm really good. I'm good. I will do my part. So I think it's just, but I never felt. I think because moving from a different country, I already there was something there was a shift. I was already understood that I'm coming from a very different place into a completely different culture, and then kind of knowing, okay, something's definitely a little bit different here, especially in a small town as well. And then yeah, my friend's also quite quirky, so I just always felt like yeah, we're quite it's quite obvious. I don't know. I just think I was just aware of it, and because I had to grow up so quickly, so soon. I grew up so quickly. Yeah, I grew up quickly. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I grew up quite quickly, so I just I can't speak today. It's Sunday. Yeah, I grew up so quickly, so I was just very aware. I'm very aware of what's around. People think I'm quite naive and I'm in my own world, and I am in my head a lot, but there is a part of me that's very present and is aware and is like
Oh,
so.
you got
I
that
think as a kid,
observant
just
ability to like
and
read people.
yeah, well, I'd like to think I am, but I'm not going to vocalize it
Yeah.
unless it needs to be.
I think
I
that's
just
key though,
for it.
that ability to read people. Because you can always tell when you're interacting with someone who doesn't have that thing. You know what I mean? And they have no
God,
idea. You know what I mean?
so much, yeah,
But you
so
did.
much patience.
I'm going to have to call you up on. You did just refer to a small town. I don't want people thinking Christie's from Ipswich. She's from up the city, on the ball city, Norwich. So let's talk Norfolk, Christie. What does Norfolk and what does Norwich mean to you? As a place to grow up in.
I mean, it's home, you know. Uh, I really enjoyed. I've enjoyed growing up in Norfolk. I think that's another thing. I think if I had maybe stayed back home, so I was born in Zimbabwe, so maybe if I'd stayed there or if I'd moved somewhere slightly different, I think I would have been a very different person.
Really,
And
in
so
what
the
way?
environment definitely. I think Norwich, just the small things like my hobbies in high school were going to tea houses and trying different teas like after school. My mum genuinely thought I was like doing drugs or like acting up. I was going to try, I'd be like, Mum, I had oolong, I had gunpowder green,
Oh my
like I had
god! I
cherry
bet she
blossom, like
wished
it's
you were doing
amazing.
drugs.
I think she always did. 'Cause she's like, "What's wrong? What is going on?" Like, and then like we went so much that we ended up getting free muffins, free stuff because we were just such long term customers. Like that
Yeah.
was in my spare time. I was just, so I think Norwich really like it's so quaint and it really like I don't know. I just think I really my love for like nature really grew because we're so close to like um, the seaside or lovely woodlands. And um, like I know, I just think I had to, in it, moving from like a place where a lot of people around me were kind of like me, not just because of the way I looked, but just like I think just the culture. Then moving here in Norwich, it was just like, whoa, oh gosh, like I either have to, I don't want to be like watered down, just because like I feel like, oh, people aren't going to accept who I am. I had to just be like, bro, as I was growing and learning, I had to figure it out, like who, really be like a, yeah, I can't really articulate what I'm trying to say, but like I didn't want to be watered down just because, ah,
Yeah, you weren't being letting the environment change who you were. You were trying to keep a
yeah,
hold of yourself.
yeah, I think unconsciously, and then now it's like a conscious thing to be like, I acknowledge my heritage, but I also love that I had the privilege to, have had most of my life in Norwich and really be exposed to so many different things and people.
Yeah.
Um,
Just
yeah,
quickly for
so
people at home that are just listening to this and there's not video, Christie's Chinese, and when she moved to Norwich, there's not a lot of Chinese people in Norwich, so she felt very, very out of. Um, she was one of the only Chinese people in Zimbabwe, I'm told.
Troy, do you regret that? Do you
No,
regret that
there are no
decision?
regrets on this podcast. Well, going back to your talk about nature, did you spend a lot of time out in? Well, you don't laugh, Christine. That's very unprofessional. Did you spend a lot of time out there in nature?
Wait, Norwich or
Well, in the Norwich, in the nature of Norfolk, or were you mostly in the cities?
yeah. I mean, I lived in like near Anglia Square, so there was not much nature around. Yeah, great area though,
Hey,
fantastic.
squares are
Honestly,
still there,
do you want to play
Christy. All
out?
right?
Oh, I missed that. I missed that question. Do you want to play out? Oh, it's so
Yeah.
fun.
Do you not get
Um,
asked to play
but
out much anymore?
especially with Corona,
I still
like
get the
nobody
kids
wants to
from
go play
Blythe
out.
Jacks at my door. Is Troy home?
Oh, Troy, I'm worried. I'm worried for you. Why are they still knocking?
you know, there's no way for me to answer that question that doesn't sound
Great,
awful. So.
awesome.
No, I mean,
Yes.
I think the landscape of Norfolk is really interesting because it is so flat and I think quite bleak. And I think it's a weird place to be a kid in, personally, Norfolk. I don't know. I mean,
Hmm.
it's so rural, do you know what I mean? It's not like a lot of the rest of England.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah, that's. I don't know. I think just because that was the only impression that I had of like English cities or towns. Like Norwich was the first and only place I've lived until I came to uni. So it was like, oh wow, the sea. And then I came to Leeds and I was like, I have to drive how long to go to the seaside? What
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, I
Yeah,
can't just.
very
It's not
underrated
down
about
down the
Norwich, isn't
road.
it?
Which is really like I really appreciate that. Like I'm not gonna go. Sometimes I'll dip a toe, but I just love walking with my boots and just splashing around like Paddington. Like it's great fun. Not that Paddington's at the sea much. I think he's at the train station sometimes.
He's still there.
But
Have you been to Paddington Station recently? They, he's there
no.
trapped in metal on the side of the thing. It's cruel. I'm talking about the Paddington statue in Paddington Station, if you're wondering.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I had no idea. I genuinely thought you were just being Troy, and I was
No,
very
I'm
confused.
trying my hardest not to do that in this podcast. So what was, we've got a lot of Leeds fans listening. What were your impressions of coming to Leeds as the only other place you've lived in the UK?
I was like, wait, if I want to get a donut at 12 midnight, I can. This is
Yeah,
incredible. Like because everything in Norwich closes at 5. Well, well, not when I say everything, it's just like I can't go to the city and have a shop. Not that I really shop much, but there's not much flexibility, so you have
no,
to figure out other ways to have fun. Um, and so coming to Leeds, and because food, like I said, is and like eating out is an actual hobby. Like I started my Instagram because I ate out so much when I actually had money. But like it was eating out was a hobby, so someone was like, "Why don't you just take pictures of everything you eat and just share it with everyone so they can eat through you?" And I was like, "That's a great idea." So
do
when
you
I came
feel
to
that when
Leeds,
you
I was like,
take a
"Oh my
photo,
gosh,
people eating through you? And what does that
yeah,
feel
that's the
like?
only reason." Oh, it feels amazing because like I don't know if people can see it. They can feel the love that I want them to feel the love that I'm feeling for my food there
Yeah,
and then because it's a love that no one can ever replace,
There is something
apart from you.
amazing about cooking
Yeah,
a good meal, isn't it? Or getting served a good
yeah,
meal. And I think
yeah.
it's because it's going to go so quickly. Like, your enjoyment of it is dependent on it
Mm,
disappearing. It's not like a film where you watch it and
oh,
then watch it again. It's like the
that's so
enjoyment you get
true.
from a food is because it's going to be gone in a bit. So you're savouring, like, every last bit of it.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Damn, who are you?
Second deep moment of the podcast. I'm going to insert a sound effect whenever there's
Deep.
a deep moment.
Oh,
Maybe some
yeah,
bubbles or something.
that would make sense. I just thought somebody just going deep. That would work.
Yeah, with some echo.
That'd be
So
great.
it's like, wow, deep, like that. Really
Deep.
ASMR-y. Yeah.
I think that'll be phenomenal. Next time, if obviously Rona permitted, you should get professional mics so you can really get the
I don't know what you're talking about. This is
ASMR.
a standard issue telesales mic. It's incredible. The sound quality on here, they use them on film sets, I'm told, to swindle old women. No, but that is a big thing about. Sorry, we're going back to Leeds. That is a big thing about Leeds. Going from living, in Norwich, 10 minutes away from a co-op versus 2 minutes away from a Tesco is a big change. You don't realise until you then don't have it again.
Oh, yeah. So it's great. I really love like Leeds is awesome. It's a great place for us like as a student. I think it's a great mix between because especially if you're moving from Norwich, which is a little bit smaller. It's not as overwhelming as London. You get slapped in the face with choice and
Yeah, yeah.
vibrancy and price, but actually it's a nice, equilibrium. It's lovely. It's vibey. I can go out dressed like I don't even know what. Like the outfits I've been pulling out. I just pray that I never run into. I'm not going to run into anyone from Norwich here, but my gosh,
Yeah, you'll
wow.
fit right in Leeds though, because people wear their fucking Nan's drapes in Leeds, and it is all go in Leeds.
Yeah, it's interesting to say the least.
So can you
So
see yourself staying in Leeds, or where do you see Christie moving to next?
I'm honestly so open to go anywhere. I think it's dependent. I think I need to save some money. So trying to toy between whether I'd stay here or move back home for a little bit, save some money. I'd love to do a master's, really get that knowledge even more marinated. Really not just
Even
one
more
hour
fermented.
marination, but a couple of even more. Sorry, fermented.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's change that. Wow.
We'll cut it back out. We'll cut it. If I leave like a couple of
Correction.
seconds, just say the word fermented, and I'll splice it in there. Okay.
Fermented.
There you go. People have never, these listeners, they don't pay attention. They will never know the difference.
Amazing.
So where's in the dream we're not worrying about money on this podcast or telesales or any real life concerns. Where are you ending up next?
I don't know. I've always wanted to live in Germany for a little bit. I really think that it's popping there. I've been a handful of times and I think it's great. Um, but it's really bad now. Like it's like I can still sing my German song, I can still watch a film and turn away and understand, like I can hear the conversation, but listen to the others. She's not bothered about. She's like, oh, okay, you're doing one of those things again. Cool.
One of those
Like,
weird
yeah,
Christie things, yeah.
yeah.
Well, you know what, Christie, we're running out of time, unfortunately. It's getting late in the chill zone. That's where we are right now. It's getting late. Shut the fuck up. It's getting late in the chill zone. It is, okay? It is getting late. Stop laughing. It's getting
It's
late in
getting
the
late
chill
in the
zone.
chill zone.
And I actually thought, wow, it'd be amazing if Christie could sing us out with her German song. And you really
You
brought it
are
up.
actually disgusting.
Um,
Do not, Troy.
okay, well, we're getting a hard no from Christie
What were you
there.
going to ask
Maybe
me? Were
next
you
time
actually
she's
going
on
to
the
ask
show,
me to
she
sing the
can give
German
us a...
song?
I was going to ask.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
I wasn't actually. I don't have any big. I don't know. Do we have any big finale questions to go out
Oh.
on? I already did. We already did
Oh,
what the
actually,
meaning of
I want
life.
to ask you a question,
You know the.
Troy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
go for
if
it.
you could pick one person to go out with for breakfast, one person to go out with for lunch, and for dinner, not the same person for all three courses, but a different person for those three courses, mealtime, sorry. Who would you pick and why? Anyone in the world, famous or not.
Wow, what a great question. Thank you for that, Christy. I think for breakfast, I would have like a wise person. I'd have like the Dalai Lama. I would have Buddha. I would have Buddha. I want to meet Buddha and I want to learn from him. Because I think when you're having coffee and some brunch or breakfast stuff, that's when you're ready to absorb new ideas. Even though I say that as not a morning person at all. Then I think for lunch, I want a bit of a dip. I want to chill the fuck out. I would like someone that I met while traveling. I would like to have lunch with them because like I have a friend who's in New York who I'm probably never going to see again, and it'd be nice to catch up with them and use this opportunity for that. And
Okay.
then for dinner, dinner has to be a success because dinners last a long time.
It's the best, one of the best
It
courses.
is one of the best courses.
Yes.
So it would have to be someone cool. It would have to be someone who I think I would actually get along with. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to pick like, you know, Jesus and have him every time I have a new glass of wine. He's going to be like, that's my blood. It's like, all right, mate. Oh, Jesus. So I would probably go. I would love to meet like Douglas Adams or Kurt Vonnegut or one of those like authors. That's like they seem really chill. They seem like chill guys. So that'd be mine. What about yours?
Well, it's really tough, but we have a similar like way of thinking of how you would break it up. So I think breakfast is definitely where you want the wisdom. You're awake, your brain juices are starting to get flowing. I just think breakfast is a phenomenal like you want someone that's really going to start that tone, set that tone for the day. So there's a woman actually who I recently discovered on Chef's Table called gosh, I hope I pronounce it right. Jeong Kwan. John Kwan.
John
She's a
Kwan.
monk. She's a Korean monk.
Really?
And yeah, so she's a Korean monk, and she joined the monastery. It's a monastery, right? I did get it right. What is that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's not going to be any
Sure. What's
Korean
it?
monks correcting you in the comments, Christy. So I wouldn't worry about it.
So yeah, I would love to have breakfast with her. Because honestly, if you ever get the chance to watch that Chef's Table episode, it's insane. She's just so much wisdom, and I
Really?
think she would just ignite. She all of the food that she cooks is vegan. It's all wholesome. She grows it all. She ferments her own kimchi. But like she is incredible. And she was just so wise and calm, and I think I need that sometimes. So she's definitely one of the ladies. I'd have her for breakfast. I wouldn't have her for breakfast, but I would have breakfast with her.
Yeah. No, you're not eating her.
I'm not eating her. For lunch, I think it would either be. It's all food related. Like
These are
people
all
who are
food
very food
icons,
related.
are they?
They're all food people. Yeah. It's either Um.
Mark Lebet from The Chase, because he does like look like he knows his food. You know what I mean?
No, how could I forget
The,
his last
the
name? Mark.
Beast.
Mark. Uh, Anyways, come back to me. Um. It's either Mark or Phil from Somebody Feed Phil.
Okay.
Phenomenal guy. He's the guy that did Everybody Loves Raymond. He directed that show.
Oh really?
They just both have the same kind of energy food wise. Really fun, but they also have a lot of wisdom. They're in their like I don't know. I think Phil's in his 50s, but I think yeah. I
So you've
forgot it.
absorbed
I'd
all the
actually
wisdom, and
recommend.
now you're having fun with it. You've got like a
I'm having
nice
fun with
fun
it. I'm like,
lunch.
yeah, let's have a great meal, and then finally it would be Matthew Gray Goobler.
Oh, what from Criminal Minds?
He is somebody I want to meet.
Yeah.
I yeah.
I mean,
Let
he's
me
a
know what you think.
fascinating character, isn't he?
Oh my gosh, he's so wacky, and I just think dinner. He'd do magic tricks. He I don't know. There's just so much. There's so much about him.
So that's like ending the day with a bang.
Yeah,
You've had
yeah,
your sort of foodie wisdom, and then it's like, I'm just meeting this
yeah,
fucking crazy guy because he
yeah,
does seem.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's great.
Sorry. It was Mark Wayne's. That's what I got confused with. Mark Wayne. Wayne's
Mark Wayne's.
Phil from Somebody Feed Phil.
I think Mark Labette is going to be really disappointed to find out he wasn't. He got the call and he was like, "I'll do it," and then it's just been yanked out from under him. I'm sorry,
Oh my
Mark.
gosh.
Right, well, that's it, Christy. We're out of time. If anything, we've run on long because of your surprise question. But it was a great end to the show. So we want to thank you for being on today, Christy. You're not going home with anything. We don't give out cars or anything on this show. But, thanks for joining me. And, maybe you'll
Thank
be
you
back.
so much.
We'll see what kind of guests we can
I'd
get.
love to be back. If you want to make it the Christie and Troy show, I'd happily be there.
You'll probably receive a call in a few days saying, "Christy, I need your help. I need the Christy and Troy show." Wow, wasn't that fun? I don't know about you guys. I sure would like to hear more of these amazing conversations with hopefully better people in the future. But if we're gonna do more, you listeners out there are gonna have to start pulling your fucking weight. So if you want to send us some audio equipment or some money to buy it, or if you want to send us like an editor, like a professional person in the post, that'd be great. Because as it stands, I don't have to, I cannot be bothered to do any more. But hey, just a note, I do know that Christoph Waltz was in Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained and fucking Spectre. I can't believe I didn't think of that. But there was a lot of pressure on me, so hope you can give me a break. And maybe I'll see you again. If not, stay alert, stay awake, protect the NHS, control the virus.